Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryuji Nakatake. I'm coaching director for Japan Rugby Football Union. Today, I'm going to have a short presentation on long-term development in Japan Rugby Football Union. So, when you say long-term development, so usually it means long-term players development. But JLFU intentionally defined as it another meaning. Not another, it's including the 4 aspects. First of all, it's long-term player development. It's no doubt, it's a final, ultimate purpose. But next one is long-term coach development. We combine together. So because if you have good players, if we want to develop a good player, you must have good coaches. And just as the training cannot turn out excellent players one night, so it is impossible to produce elite coaches in a short time. So we focus on the long-term coaching development. And third one is the integrated training program and manuals. It's for not only players, it's for coaches as well. So if you have talent players and coaches, if you don't have any respective contents, so we couldn't expect the good players and coaches. And last one is collectively aligned long-term development framework. I'm talking about the framework. So in which all players, coaches, manuals will functionally and efficiently worked. So today I'm going to talk 4 aspects of long-term development. So I going to show you one picture. So could you imagine? Can you imagine what is this? So this is the photo taken on February this year. Can you imagine this? There are 6 people, the same direction looked. So the biggest guy is a man, it's John Cowan, is the head coach of Japan. And next guy, one is Masahiro Kunda, is the head coach of Japan A. It's a second Japan rugby representative. Next one is Yukio Motoki, head coach of under-20. He's in now Georgia. It's a tournament of Junior World Rugby Trophy at the moment. So next one is head coach of under-18, Matsui. Next one is me, and coaching director and high-performance manager, Ken Iwabuchi. Maybe he had the presentation 2 days ago. So that means is historically start to align the coaching principle for long-term development. Because this was the first time to gather at the same time. So I really emphasize on like these assembly and meeting to share the information. If the John Cowan had a good strategy or education policy, the other side, so young generation, the top of under-18 head coach Matsui, he think different way. It's not works together. Then, so last year, I in charge of the management of these framework, the structure. Can I explain the background of long-term development? It's easy to understand. So 2009 is a year of change. So that year, Japan was chosen to host the 2019 World Cup in Japan. So then JLFU presented a roadmap for long-term development for the first time. Of course, JLFU had the roadmap, the kind of target for getting the quarterfinal. But there is no time limit. So after the nominated by the hosting union, they have to define the timeline, deadline, until 2019. Then, so could you imagine this? So this is a very typical Japanese culture. This is the last timeline. So they, people who engage in the rugby, Japan rugby, think of necessity of Japan's rugby style. So could you explain that? Can I explain the Japan roadmap briefly? This is it's kind of roadmap. It's average of Team Japan. We anticipate 25 years old. That means now we focus on like this year, 2011, under 18 and under 20 is a target age. And we are focused on the international match against Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Italy. And mid target 2014 under 20 Junior World Cup targets Ireland, Wales, Scotland. And then lastly, we get quarter final 2019. So, and developed Japan's rugby style. So, we have to think, why do we need Japan's unique rugby style? So this is very simple, but very important. Yeah, because so we have been influenced by the big rugby union, New Zealand, Australia, England, France as well, Ireland as well. But we don't have a unique, we don't have original style of rugby. Then we think, so Team Japan need to compete with like the country have influence to Japan. That means, so we have to liberate its unique strengths. So question 2 is, what is the Japan's unique rugby style? This is important. So, of course, we have to catch up the global standard and combined with Japan's weaknesses. So, I'm not going to talk specific strategy. This is not the specific strategies and tactics, but this is the basic principle that Team Japan should embody. So this basic principle will form the platform on which all members, including the players, coaches, and match officials, embrace. So this is a statistics analysis of SWOT, strengths and weaknesses, opportunity and threat, as current rugby in Japan. We discussed this before create our Japan's rugby style. So this is hearing from many successive elite coaches on the international intellectual elite coaches. And we take this make for 1 year. And so I'm sorry, this is very small letters. So, for example, strength is a lower position, and agility, speed in the short distance is a typical Japanese strength, so we said. And weakness is, of course, physical, muscle, power, weight, and sometimes said, so we couldn't look the wide vision. So we always tend to think narrow and look narrow. This is a kind of weaknesses. And opportunity, good opportunity is quick attack, passing the ball wide. And so we think this, and based on this analysis, we build up the coaching philosophy based on the Japanese uniqueness. So, symbol of philosophy is this picture. So, very easy. So players and coaches think by themselves. So find a solution to challenge, thereby continue growing. So if you get the championship, the coach, so always tend to be proud of the others. So it's difficult to get around. So I always say to the coaches, you should learn by themselves, yourself. So I say, so those who do not learn should neither player nor coach, not only coach, the players also should think themselves. And this is another Japanese cultures. So bottom-up approach instead of top-down approach. It means we say followership rather than leadership. So it's, I can explain that if you imagine that Japanese industries, Japanese companies in the industry, successful industry, like electronics, automobile, after the war, all industry and the companies use this approach, bottom-up approaches, and they emphasize on each forefront workers at the plants. So I use this approach to the long-term development.